Alright, what's up YouTube? This is the Upstate Prepper, and I'm here today. We're going to talk a little bit about the political spectrum and what we're looking at, the difference between democracy and the republic. So, to jump right into this, which by the way, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to share, because the algorithms don't include channels like mine. So the only way to really get the video out there is to share it. So if you have some friends that are like-minded, feel free to share it with them. In fact, please do. Don't forget to like and subscribe. So, back in 1985, the political spectrum looked like this. This here's the left, the radical left. This here is the radical right. Right here is the center line, right down the center. So these two lines right here denounced moderate citizens who kind of swung to the left sometimes and kind of swung to the right sometimes when it made sense to them. They were moderate, and as long as the moderation was being used, they were happy. This, of course, the left, this is why they're called the left, by the way, is because of the political spectrum. The left are the Democrats, the right are the Republicans. So, as you can see, well over 80% is in the moderation. And then the other 20%, basically, probably 20%, are right-wing reactionaries, which these would be, the extreme right, and then radicals for the extreme left. So if you're part of the extreme left, you're a radical. If you're extreme right, you're a reactionary. This is in 1985. This is the model that we had then. Now, the model that we have for 2020 is completely different. We've got the same line. Everything's still the same. Democrats to the left, Republicans to the right. Now though, on the Republican side, the moderate is quite a bit smaller than what it was in 1985. It's quite a bit smaller. The reactionaries is a little bit smaller. Not a lot though, just a little bit smaller. And now, in 2020, we have branches that come off of the right side of the political spectrum, the evangelicals and the libertarians. So this is all part of your Republican Party. You have moderate Republicans, evangelicals, libertarians, conservatives, which are in here, and reactionaries. On the left, here's the line for moderates. As you can see, it's gone down even more than the Republicans have. So the moderates in the Democratic Party are considerably smaller and continuing to get smaller. Now we have a much larger liberal section, and the radical section stays the same. Radical is Antifa, BLM, things of that nature. Reactionaries would be a good example. Maybe the Proud Boys would be an example of a reactionaries. So what does this all mean? Well, it shows that both parties are moving to the left. The Republican Party is just moving slower than the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is in a full sprint, while the Republicans are in a light jog. But they're still moving to the left nonetheless. So if you're 50 years old, maybe 45, but 50 probably for sure. If you're 50 or older, the Democratic Party that you joined way back when, 32 years ago or more, is not the Democratic Party of today. It's not the Democratic Party of today. So one of two things has to happen. Either your views are still the same, and you're in this very small, moderate area, or you've changed your views, and you've gone way to the left, starting with the liberals, with the liberal philosophy and political system. So it's not the party that you joined. If you're looking for the party that you joined back in the 1980s or 70s or whenever it is you joined, probably no later than 1990 or so. If you want to look for the party that you joined back then, that's the Republican Party today. The Republican Party today is at the level that the Democrats were in the 1980s. They've moved to the left, and they're now at that level, the Democratic level of the 1980s. So if that's what you're looking for, you're actually a Republican. Now, another thing I want to go over real quick, and if you have any questions or anything, feel free to leave it in the comment, and I'll do my best to answer it. In fact, if you have anything to say, leave a comment. Democracy versus a constitutional republic. And we hear this all the time. Social media, consistently and constantly, referring to our democracy. It's also on mainstream media, and even the politicians talk about our democracy. It's important to realize that we do not have a democracy. This is not a democracy that we live in. This is a constitutional republic that we live in, which is completely different. A constitutional republic that has some democratic principles as far as how the government operates. But we're a constitutional republic. We have a constitution and we are a republic. We are not a democracy. Why are we not a democracy? Well, in a democracy is set to be the majority rules. So the 51% can impose what they would wish upon the 49%. And there would be nothing that the 49% could do. That's the political system of democracy. If you have a show of hands, there's 10 people there. If 6 people raise their hand, then the other 4 are what? They're out of luck. It doesn't go their way. That's what a democracy is. Our founding fathers knew there was a problem with a democracy, and that was what the problem was. That a small majority could tell an almost just an equal size group in a tyrannical fashion, which I think we're starting to see today, more or less control their lives and how they're going to live their lives based on a very small majority of people. So they set up a constitutional republic instead. They saw the problem with this. They set up this instead. Why? Constitution gives the framework for what the government is supposed to do and not do, which specifically the Bill of Rights is that. However, a republic is set up so that the small majority cannot completely overrule a small minority, or even if it was a more significant minority. There are things in place. There's always an option for the minority to try to get their way once in a while. One used to be the filibuster. That was taken out by Reed. Had been in the our Republican system for almost since the installing of the Congress. And basically what the filibuster is it is an attempt for a minority, when it's their turn to speak so long that everybody goes home and they don't vote on the matter at hand. Last performed by Ted Cruz. Very effectively. He spoke for 30 plus hours, I think it was. And by the time he was done, everyone had either gone home, or I think everyone pretty much went home.